girl Deja D here. I'm looking real bare or whatever, but I just wanted to get on here and give you guys some more tips on, your natural hair so you won't play yourself. I've been getting a lot of requests for this video, a lot of good positive comments underneath my last one. I'll leave that linked up here, and you can also go check that out. It's on my channel. But I've received a lot of good comments, a lot of saying great tips and whatever. And with the natural hair, like I said, it can be very discouraging if you don't know what's Gucci. So we're just gonna get right into this video. Before we start, make sure you check out my other video. After this, give this video a thumbs up if you're a natural, and be sure to leave some comments if you want another video, because I could always keep doing these, because it's 365 days in a year and you need to know what's Gucci with your hair. Also, this isn't my hair, this is a wig. I have a tutorial on how I cut this into this little, I think this is asymmetrical, I don't know, on how I cut this bob. I'll also leave that linked up there, and you can also check that out on my video. But let's get right into these tips. So the first tip is more summer related, but it's also all year round depending on where you live at. I live in Maryland, so it's mostly summer because I don't really go swimming. But if you're like a swimmer and that's your sport, or you live in warmer areas of the of the world, then you might go swimming more frequently, whatever, or if you travel, whatever. So moisture is the most important thing with your natural hair. Moisture is the thing that's going to help your hair grow, be healthy, maintain its health, shine, bounce, whatever. Especially during the summertime, the pools have a lot of chlorine in it, so a lot of times that strips your hair of your moisture. So I'm not saying that you got to go to the pool with like a swim cap on, but just every time you go, you might not want to put your head under the water. Just take that in caution. Make sure you deep condition a lot, especially if you swim a lot, just to keep that moisture balance in your hair, because the pools and the salt waters from the beach and all of these strong chemicals that are placed in the water, those strip your hair from a lot of their moisture. So maybe in the summertime you lay back on the shampoos and add some more conditioners. Make sure you're putting that protein in your hair. Make sure that you're just keeping the moisture in your hair, keeping your hair nice and strong, because that stuff in the water definitely strips your hair. And also the bright sun strips your hair, just as like it strips your skin. It's good to just make sure you're nice, moisturized skin and hair wise. And also another point with the moisture, is how in the summertime you have to drink a lot of water because you'll get dehydrated, much like that with your hair. So I just decided to add that on real quick. Number 2 with growing your natural hair and tips to grow your hair is the main thing. I feel like a lot of times people think that their hair is not growing from their scalp, when in reality your hair is always growing from your scalp. The thing that is stopping your hair from being longer is breakage. So your hair is always coming from this end, but whether or not it's staying on the ends is the most important. So you could, it's good to, you can increase and speed up the growth from your scalp, but if your hair is breaking off, it's going to kind of defeat the point. It's like they both work hand in hand. An example would be if my ends, every day my ends are getting shorter and shorter, but this is growing. So it's growing as this is getting shorter. So you're never going to be getting lengths. But if you're keeping good care of your ends, then it's just going to keep pushing and your hair is going to get longer. But if your hair is messing up on the ends and it's pushing out up here, it's just going to maintain that length that it is. So breakage is that's the thing that I feel like a lot of people don't pay attention to. They're just so worried from the top and not worried from the bottom end of it. Like, you're worried about the scalp, you're massaging your scalp, you're eating your vitamins, doing everything good. Gucci is good up here, but make sure you're paying attention down here as well. Number 3 will be protective styling. I have good things about protective styling and bad things about protective styling. So I'm going to touch the bad things first. I guess you say give me the bad news and then the good news. So protective styling, it's good, but the bad things about it is, one, it could be too tight. It could be it causes too much stress on your hair. For example, you get braids in your hair. That's good, helping leave off the breakage or whatever, but it's bad because if they're too tight, they're going to be messing up your scalp. Or if they're too heavy, you're tugging on your scalp follicles, which is kind of like you're having the braids in your hair, but they're not really helping your hair grow. So just be careful when you get things. Make sure they're not too tight, make sure they're not too heavy, make sure they're just not causing too much stress on your hair. They should be, of course they're going to be a little tight. Nobody's saying like get the super loosest braids out here, but if they're like tight for, you know, weeks, or like really strenuous, like stressful on your hair, especially with wigs too, or weaves or braids or whatever you're getting, if it's really tight, it's not really, it's messing up your hair follicles, which can eventually lead for a bad thing, you know, no hair at all basically. And another thing, a good things about the protector stylist is they do minimize breakage, so your hair is continuously, like I said before, your hair is growing from the root, so you know your ends ain't really able to get damaged while you're in protective stylist. I mean, they can, but it's less likely that they're getting damaged, so it's growing. It's good, you know, you're protecting your hair that's already here, so it won't break, and this is growing at the top, so you will get some hair growth, you know. Number 4 would be to make sure you're maintaining a good healthy hair while you're sleeping. A lot of times when you're sleeping, you're rolling over. I know I'm bad at this, you know, I'm just a little wild sleeper. I just be doing whatever I want to do. But when you're sleeping, make sure you're wrapping your hair up. You can either use a satin or silk scarf. I use both. I sometimes wrap my hair up like 3 layers. Like I'll put a scarf on, then I'll put another scarf on, then I'll put a bonnet on, because sometimes the first layer comes on, sometimes the second layer come off, and then if you know you had a good night's sleep, when the third layer come off, like I sometimes put like 3 to 2 layers on my hair, and it's not uncomfortable at all. But like, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do to keep your hair looking good, and make sure that you're not like, you know, this is like tension and, you know, that rubbing up on your pillowcase. And if you're one of the type of people who don't like to put scarves on or anything, and it's also good, like if you have your hair out, like if I had a twist out, braid out, whatever, I could put on my silk pillowcase and I won't have to wear a scarf. But sometimes if your hair come off your pillow, you might need like silk sheets too, maybe even a silk color. I mean, hey, do what you gotta do, you know. I feel like that's a little too much, but do what you gotta do to get your hair looking good, girl. But just make sure that you're protecting your hair while you're sleeping. Make sure you're wrapping it up correctly. Make sure you're not putting too much tension and rubbing back and forth on cotton. That's going to break your hair off, especially right here in your crown area. If you're rubbing back and forth, your crown area will get really thin, and then it's like all the rest of your hair is nice, and then it's like this area up top is just like, girl, no, that's not cute. And another thing is, a lot of times when we wrap our scarves on our head, we forget to include all of your edges. Make sure you're being careful with that. I am guilty of putting it on, and I don't want it to cover my ears, so I'll lift it up a little, and then like this part of my edges don't be covered. Make sure you're better than me, you know. I'm telling you this so you all could be better than me. But just make sure you're including all of your head, your whole head, the back part, the kitchen. Make sure you're including the sides, make sure you're including the edges, make sure you're covering up the top, and just make sure you're covering up your whole head basically, okay? Secure the crown, okay? You want somebody to take care of your princess crown, take care of your crown on your head. Work. And the 5th thing I feel like is very important that a lot of times people miss out on because they're watching these YouTubers, is cleansing your hair is very important. Yes, you can co-wash, but you still need to wash your hair, okay? Co-washing is very good. I like to co-wash throughout the week. Sometimes if build up, if you watch my last video, I told you I have a problem with build up, so I like to co-wash in between, but I still like to use shampoo. Sometimes I'll use a sulfate free. Most of the times I use someone with sulfate, just because like with my skin, when I wash my skin and I don't see suds and bubbles, and all it is like I just don't feel clean. I feel like sulfate just makes me personally feel clean. And I haven't had any problems with my hair. I used to always use sulfates in my hair, and until YouTubers start telling me I wasn't able and that it wasn't good, then that's when I start paying attention to sulfates. But you know, my hair ain't falling out from me using sulfates. I think it's just more of how much you use. So if you're washing your hair every day, well, first of all, if you're natural, you shouldn't be washing your hair every day. You're not white, you don't have straight hair, you don't have oily hair, you have dry hair. So you need to build that moisture. But if you're washing your hair, let's say every week, every 2 weeks or whatever, you don't really need sulfates in your hair that often unless you're like really, really greasy, built up, you know, you need to really get in there. But I feel like do what works for you. Don't worry about what these YouTubers say. If you feel like you need some sulfates, go ahead and use them. Just make sure you're being cautious of how much you do use in your hair. And also make sure you're cleansing your hair just however you feel like is the best for you. Everybody's different, so whatever you got to do to cleanse your hair is good for you, whether it's apple cider vinegar rinses, which you shouldn't do all the time. Just do whatever makes you good, because if you don't cleanse your hair, then you'll have clogged up pores, which results in no growth. You have buildup that can also cause for breakage, like, you know, your hair be too hard, so every time you go to comb it or detangle it, it's built up and it's flaky and it's just not good. But the most important thing I feel like for hair growth is to have nice clear pores. So don't clog up your pores by not cleaning your hair. And that's basically it on that part. So I hope you all enjoyed these tips. I hope they were helpful. Be sure in the comment section to let me know if you want me to do another video like this. I feel like this is very informative, very helpful. If you feel like it is, give me a thumbs up. And you know, back to chilling I go. I'm really chilling today, y'all. Like, y'all don't understand. I got school tomorrow. You know, I just cleaned up my room, did my laundry. I feel like somebody mama up in here. I'm about to polish my nails. So next time y'all see me, hopefully y'all be popping. I have a natural hair video coming up soon, so be sure to subscribe and cut the notifications on. You guys will definitely like this one. And without further ado,